ranking the strongest and weakest submarine fleets. My friends, I'm so excited for this one. I assume America will rank quite well here, but the question is, number one, number two, I guess we shall see. Before I go into that, let me ask you for one thing. If you can leave a like, thank you so much, is the best way to show support. Now, if you can subscribe, well, in that case, forget about it, you make my day. Have that in consideration. Link for the original video in my description, and let's play it.
This is every military submarine on Earth.
Wait, I saw the Portuguese flag. Sorry, my friends, I got excited.
This is every military
Perfect, it's right there. Oh, please tell me that Portugal ranks really well.
submarine on Earth. At least the ones we know about.
Okay.
I've separated them out by each country. Whoever rules the waves rules the world is a saying that rings a special.
Sorry, you know what? I think most people would say America will be number one, but I don't know, because I was reading something the other day that China is quite strong when it comes to submarines.
Especially true in recent years, as global power dynamics are shifting before our eyes. Submarines represent ocean power. So today, let's look at the 471 known military submarines and which countries they belong to, both big and small. I want to do this so that we can see how countries use these vessels not only to protect their country, but also to project power.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Of the 43 countries that have subs, most
Spain
just
with
have
one.
small fleets.
Losers. Sorry, I'm Portuguese. Spanish people, sorry.
Less than
We are kind of rivals, Portuguese people and Spanish people. Sorry for that.
a dozen. By the way, experts argue about these numbers.
Portugal,
Do you want to see our methodology here?
Let's go. We are still at the bottom, right? But we are ahead of Poland, Spain, Cuba. We are doing quite well.
You can go to our sources, link in the description, to explore country by country how we got these numbers and specs. And yes, these submarines
I'm happy already.
are to scale.
Scale.
These smaller countries want submarines for slightly different reasons than the big countries. For these small navies, having even one submarine is a major level up, because submarines are designed to be invisible, to lurk and spy, and be ready to attack at any moment. Their great advantage is that your enemy has no idea where they are, so they have to assume that they could be anywhere.
Most likely they will be on the ocean.
These submarines are also much smaller than the ones we'll see later on when we get to the big navies, and almost all of them have a massive.
What the hell is this size comparison? Is this a European submarine, the Chinese one, and the American one? My friends, look, we are at the start of the video. We don't know for sure what country is number one when it comes to submarine fleets. But if you believe it's America, you have to leave me a like right now. What the hell?
Massive limitation, which is that they're powered by diesel engines that need oxygen to run. This means that the submarine has to go to the surface every so often to run these loud engines to charge the batteries on the sub before diving back down again. This makes these submarines less effective than nuclear-powered submarines that we'll see later. These submarines could stay underwater basically forever. That is, if they didn't have humans aboard that needed to come to the surface for food and supplies. I made a whole video.
So even if, let's say, China or Russia are number one or number two, I still believe America is the best in the sense that, it's quality versus quantity. And from what I understand, America really have the best technology in the world.
Video about the fascinating technology and history of submarines if you want to learn more.
Oh, this would be a good one.
Strategically, the submarines in these smaller navies are meant to patrol and protect a country's coastal waters, the ocean close by, making anyone think twice before attacking that country. Though we're arriving at a bit of an exception to this, Israel. Israel currently has 5 very modern submarines, 2 of which can stay underwater for up to a week without needing to take in oxygen, making them stealthier than the older diesel models, and allowing them to.
Israel is really strong, my friends, when it comes to military power. For such small country, I know America and Israel historically have good relationship, right? And I assume that's one of the reasons they are so advanced. But they impress me all the time when it comes to technology, specific on the military.
to travel up to 4,500 kilometers. And while all of the subs we've seen so far carry smaller weapons like torpedoes or anti-ship missiles or mines, Israel's submarines can shoot missiles loaded with nuclear warheads. At least that's what the US government believes and has said, even though Israel denies all of this. Israel uses these submarines as defense against the many enemies they have in their region, like Iran, hoping that these nuclear-armed submarines would make Iran think twice before ever striking Israel first. By the way, those Israeli submarines are being purchased from Germany, a country that is coming up here soon. Germany has 6 super powerful long-range submarines of their own, but they also build and export submarines all over the world. Here we have Australia, which has a relatively small fleet of diesel submarines, but this is going to change soon. Thanks to a historic deal with the UK and US, Australia will soon have super advanced nuclear-powered submarines. They're buying this from the United States. This is all a part of the US's effort of arming and strengthening its alliances in China's neighborhood. By the way,
Ooh, that's smart. So if some war starts with China, Australia and the countries like there, they are the ones that will fight for America, if that makes sense. Oh man, that's actually smart.
And strengthening its alliances in China's neighborhood. By the
Probably they do the same with Japan, I'm gonna assume.
way, this is where you'll start to see us moving
And
into
South
more
Korea.
powerful navies.
Pakistan.
These navies use their submarines not just to protect their coastline and coastal waters, but to project power in their region. So you'll start to see bigger and more advanced diesel submarines, but we'll also start to see submarines that run on nuclear energy, like these French and British subs.
So this is the best that Europe have to offer, from what I understand. The United Kingdom and France are super advanced, but I'm starting to have a feeling that America will make them look really small.
These submarines have a nuclear reactor
European
on
power.
board that breaks apart atoms and creates an immense amount of energy that heats up water and powers the submarine. It could do this basically forever, without having to go to the surface for air. This process also makes oxygen and drinkable water for the sailors. Having a nuclear reactor on board is a game changer for subs because it allows them to silently patrol the seas, traveling long distances and projecting power to regions that are important to them. Here come the fleets of Greece and Turkey. They have a similar number of subs because both countries see securing their water as very important. And while they don't have nuclear power plants on board, both countries have subs that don't require as much oxygen as typical diesel subs, allowing them to stay underwater for much longer. This is also where you start to see submarines that are equipped with the most powerful.
You know what? India is so damn strong, my friends. India, of course, is not America's strong yet, but India will become top 3 in terms of military power soon. They are growing like crazy.
Weapons of all. India currently has at least 2 submarines that, as far as we know, are not only powered by nuclear energy, but can also launch rockets with nuclear warheads on them. They have a range of around 700 kilometers. And they're working on 2 more, which could potentially increase that range to more like 3,500 kilometers.
You know, a conflict that I think we should talk a bit more is between India and Pakistan. The reason I say we should talk a bit more about this one is this is the one that have the potential to go nuclear, you know, in the sense that they both have atomic bombs and stuff like that. So this can, if this escalates, is very serious, you know, because between Ukraine and Russia, I mean, let's be real, unless America or other country provides crazy weapons to Ukraine, they will always be weaker than Russia, even though they are putting a tremendous fight. But here, things can get really crazy.
They're also planning to build a fleet of at least 6 modern attack submarines that are quicker and that are meant to accompany and support these nuclear-armed subs. Though it's hard to know the full picture because a lot of the details from the Indian Army are kept secret. If you want, you can look at my sources for more details on this reporting. Here comes Iran. They don't have nuclear capabilities on their submarines, but they do have a lot of subs. These 4 big diesel-powered submarines, and at least 15 of these mini-subs. They use these to patrol their coastal waters, through which a lot of valuable oil flows. We've got 6 countries left, and this is where things get really big, really fast.
South
There are
Korea?
2 countries that have a lot in common. Both are high-tech economies, both are close friends with the United States, both are deeply reliant on the ocean, and crucially,
See, like I said, so they are doing that with Australia. They did this with South Korea and Japan, right? The Americans are making them strong if China goes crazy. Is this the plan, my friends?
both countries are surrounded by rival countries with strong
And they also have, in terms, if you think you have a bad neighbor, my friend, think about South Korean peoples that live close to the border.
navies. One of those neighbors is the Hermit Kingdom of North Korea. We don't know how big North Korea's fleet is, for obvious reasons. Experts think they could have as many as 85 submarines, but here I'm going to visualize a more conservative estimate of 36 submarines.
Still
a lot of
a
this
lot.
info is gleaned by satellite imagery on naval bases like this one. But regardless of the specific number, we do know that it's a pretty big submarine fleet. It rivals some of the great powers, at least in terms of numbers. But experts disagree about how functional all of these subs really are. Some of these boats are at least 50 years old. It has
Okay, never mind, my friends. What the hell is this? They look so bad.
around 8 diesel subs capable of long-range patrols. And then they have these 2. They're diesel-powered, and even though they can't stay underwater for more than just a few days, they do have the ability to shoot 4 ballistic missiles armed with nuclear warheads, with a likely range that could easily reach Japan or even Guam and Hawaii, a part of the United States. Now we're moving into the big 3 navies, the countries that use
Okay, the top 3 was easy to guess. Let me guess the order. I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna go number 3 Russia, number 2 China, number 1 America, baby. Leave a like again if you still believe America will be number 1, because I'm actually not sure.
use their subs to project power at each other and around the world.
Okay, wrong. China, number 2, number 3. Okay. Man, I was expecting more from China.
China has 58 submarines. 6 of these subs are capable of firing rockets with nuclear weapons, and 6 more are attack submarines powered by nuclear energy. But the majority of China's submarines are still the older diesel-powered kind. But not for long. What
To be fair, my friends, they can go to AliExpress and buy a couple more.
China's rivals see when they look at this fleet is more like this. In the next 6 years, China's fleet will include at least 5 new nuclear-powered subs. 2 of them are
See what I was talking about? They are becoming very strong.
going to be able to launch ballistic missiles with nuclear weapons on them, and 3 of them will be able to launch cruise missiles. They're even getting Russia's help to build a new, extra-quiet, extra-stealthy ballistic missile sub that the US is worried about because it'll be nearly impossible for them to track. They're doing this in part as a
Really?
response to the US selling this submarine technology to Australia, but it's also a part of China's bigger goal of being a global superpower like the US, who can project power to every ocean in the world. This will be difficult for them, first and foremost because the US and its allies have created a chain of military installations here in the Pacific. This allows them to track Chinese submarines trying to leave the region. But it will also be difficult because China lags quite a bit behind the US when it comes to creating stealthy submarines. It's a gap that they are working hard to close.
Okay.
Russia has the second largest fleet, 62 submarines in total. We've just made a massive leap. This fleet is a huge step up from China's. Half of the fleet is powered by nuclear energy, and 12 of these subs can launch nuclear weapons, something that they remind the world of by conducting these tests that show off their subs launching these rockets, obviously
Oh, so Russia is still quite ahead of China, really?
without the nukes on board. These other subs are attack submarines, which are quick, hard to track. They can launch missiles with a range of 600 kilometers that are precise and able to hit a land-based target on the east coast of the United States if they were here in the Atlantic Ocean. And this gets to a really important use of submarines at this level, their ability to lurk around the globe. Russia quietly sends its nuclear-armed subs to key regions that puts their enemies and rivals in range. It's a part of their nuclear deterrent, the threat that if they are attacked, they have the capability to strike back with nukes, and no one can know exactly from where. In recent years,
Okay, damn, that's kind of scary, actually.
Russia shocked the world by unveiling this long-range nuclear-powered torpedo called Poseidon. It can travel 185 kilometers an hour, underwater, and it can hit targets as far away as 1,000 kilometers. Oh, and it apparently carries a 100 megaton nuclear warhead that can create a radioactive tsunami. We're not 100% sure how much of this is real and how much is Russian propaganda, but it just goes to show you how crazy our advanced technology is becoming here. Okay, we've made it to number...
Brothers and sisters, let's all take a deep breath. The number one, the Big Daddy, the Big Mother, it's coming.
Crazy our advanced technology is becoming here.
Okay, but what about the number
we've
one?
made it to number one, the United States, which unambiguously is the most powerful submarine force in the world. Not just by numbers, but by capability. All 68 of these subs are powered by nuclear energy. Most of these are attack submarines, which are smaller and quicker. They're meant for battle with their torpedoes and sea mines and shorter range weapons. Like these 4 submarines can each be loaded up with 154 cruise missiles, missiles that have a range of 1,000 kilometers and are very precise. Then we get to these 14 subs, which are huge. You can really see it when you look at them out of the water. These submarines can carry up to 24 missiles, each of them capable of carrying multiple nuclear warheads. These things can travel up to 12,000 kilometers, which is nearly a third the Earth's circumference. And at any given moment, 8 of these are lurking around the world's oceans, carrying some 720 nuclear warheads between them. And no one knows where, and that's the whole point.
That's crazy, actually.
They are a foundational part of the US's nuclear deterrent, a constant reminder that attacking the US could easily provoke a response from one of these hidden subs. This is what controlling the ocean really looks like.
Okay, moral of the story, don't mess with America.
And it's one of the ways that the US has maintained its place as the most powerful country on Earth. To keep this position, in 2020, the US started building 12 new massive submarines to replace these 14 aging nuclear-armed subs. They will be completed in 2042. So, those are the world's submarines, and a little bit about their strategic application. There's so much more to cover about submarines and naval strategy. So please tell me what questions you...
Damn, but in terms of, okay, on the top 3, America versus the other 2, there is a big difference, let's be honest. Because in terms of technology, in terms of having the best submarines, is by far America. But even if you pick the top 3 versus the others, there is a huge difference also. You know, those 3, even specifically Russia and America, they are so ahead of the others.
You have, or what else I should cover on this topic in the future. Thanks for watching.
Well, we have 2 and we are proud of that. I hope they work, actually. My friends, thank you so much for watching this with me. Awesome video. I really like military stuff. Again, if you also enjoy leaving me a like, English, am I right? Leaving me a like is the best way to show support. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Bye, my friends.